Jaya Nilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur Jaya Nilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur He no Prabhu Kota Gela Charya Thakur Kota Gela Acharya Thakur Kaha Mora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kaha Mora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kaha Dasa Raghu Nata Patita Pavan Kahadasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan Kahamora Bhata Juga Kaha Kaviraj Kahamora Bhata Juga Kaha Kaviraj Eka Kale Kota Gela Goranatharaj Pashane Kutipo Mata Anale Pashibo Pashane Kutibo Mata Anale Pashibo Gauranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gele Pabo Ranidhi Kota Gele Pabo Se Sabasangira Sange Je Koilo Bila Se Sabasangira Sange Je Koilo Bila Se Sangana Paya Kande Narotamoda Se Sangana Paya Kande Narotamoda Jaya Nilo Premadana Karuna Prachur Jaya Nilo Premadana Karuna Prachur He no Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur He no Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jaya, Vaishnav Thakur Jaya, Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya, Gurudev. Gurudev, Jaya Jaya, Gurudev. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Astotara Sita Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Devi Jamuna Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. We'll just read the translation. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where has such a personality as Srinivasacharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishna Das Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all these devotees, in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps. Srila Narottam Das Thakur Ki Jai. So we'll recite a verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is in connection. We'll start with glorifying Vakreshwara Pandit, and then we'll talk about Hera Panchami after that. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Vakreshwara Pandita Prabhura Bada Priya Britya Eka Bhave Chabisha Prahara Yandra Nritya Vakreshwara Pandita Prabhura Bada Priya Britya Eka Bhave Chabisha Prahara Yandra Nritya. Does anybody want to sing? Yeah. Vakreshwara Pandita Prabhura Bada Priya Britya Eka Bhave Chabisha Prahara Yandra Nritya Vakreshara Pandita Prabhura Pada Britya Britya Eka Bhave. Translation. Vakreshara Pandit, the fifth branch of the tree, was a very dear servant of Lord Chaitanya's. He could dance with constant ecstasy for 72 hours. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the Gora Ganadesh Deepika 71, it is stated that Vakreshara Pandit was an incarnation of Aniruddha, one of the quadruple expansions of Vishnu, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna. He could dance wonderfully for 72 continuous hours. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu played in dramatic performances in the house of Srivas Pandit, Vakreshara Pandit was one of the chief dancers, and he danced continuously for that length of time. Sri Govinda Das, an Oriya devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, has described the life of Vakreshara Pandit in his book, Gora Krishna Daya. There are many disciples of Vakreshara Pandit in Orissa, and they are known as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, although they are Oriyas. Among these disciples are Sri Gopal Guru and his disciple Sri Dhyana Chandra. And we'll read a few more verses. 18. Apane Mahaprabhu Ghaya Yandra Nritya Kale Prabhura Charanadhari Vrakeshvara Bale. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally sang while Vakreshara Pandit danced. And thus Vakreshara Pandit fell at the lotus feet of the Lord and spoke as follows. Text 19. Dasha Sahasra Gandharva More Deha Chandra Mukha Taragaya Muni Nachon Tabe Mora Sukha. O Chandramukha, please give me 10,000 Gandharvas. Let them sing as I dance, and then I will be greatly happy. Purport. The Gandharvas, who are residents of Gandharva Loka, are celebrated as celestial singers. Whenever singing is needed in the celestial planets, the Gandharvas are invited to sing. The Gandharvas can sing continuously for days, and therefore Vakreshara Pandit wanted to dance as they sang. Text 20. Prabhu bale tumi mora paksha eka shaka akashe uditamam yadi pan arabhaka. Lord Chaitanya replied, I have only one wing like you, but if I had another, certainly I would fly in the sky. And that's where that's the end of that description in that chapter. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamstra Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamshcha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So before beginning, I want to ask blessings from Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas that I can speak some words in glorification of this special day. It's always a great honor to speak on these special days because I feel that we get connected to the personalities whose appearance day or disappearance it is. So it's a really sweet way to glorify them and get connected to them and hopefully develop some of their qualities, even a little bit of their qualities. So some of the highlights of the qualities of Vakeshwara Pandit. Here in the purport, it's described that he is in the spiritual world. He is Aniruddha, an incarnation of Aniruddha. And in other places, it's also described that he is an incarnation of Tungavidya, who is one of the 8 principal gopis. And her service in the spiritual world is singing and dancing for Krishna. So in Vakeshwara Pandit, in Gora Lila, Vakeshwara Pandit is the famous dancer. And the amazing thing is that he could dance straight for 72 hours. So I was thinking about that. I was thinking if he would start dancing now, it's his Friday morning at 6:50, he would be done dancing on Monday morning at 6:50 a.m. and he would not have stopped to eat, sleep, drink, or anything. He would just have continuously danced. So definitely a spiritual body. Yes. And I was thinking about Champaka Mataji, how she's such an expert dancer, and she can dance for long hours, more than I can dance, but I don't know if you can dance for that long. Yeah. So you see, the body is limits us, but I'm sure the soul would just want to keep going. So if you have a spiritual body, then you can keep dancing for a long time. So his famous disciples were Gopal Guru and Dhyana Chandra. So in the Manashiksha, it's just Mother Urmila explains that there's 2 lines. There's the internal line by Raghunath Das Goswami and the more external line of practicing bhakti, which is through Vakeshwara Pandit and Dhyana Chandra Goswami. So we follow more like Srila Prabhupada emphasized more the internal path, which is cultivating the path of bhakti internally instead of like having specific mantras and meditations to develop our progress in bhakti. But both are authorized paths. This is a complicated subject, so it's like in the Manashiksha, in the introduction, there's a whole explanation of these 2 paths. So one thing that I thought was quite amazing is that usually Lord Chaitanya, as we were singing in this song, Jaya Nilo Premadana, it says Gora Nataraj. So Gora Nataraj, he was the greatest dancer, and usually he would dance when his associates would sing, like Sarup Damodar Goswami, who we just celebrated his disappearance day on Monday, or Mukunda Datta, or the Ghosh brothers. When they would sing, Lord Chaitanya would be dancing, and they knew the mood of the Lord, and they would sing according to the mood, and Lord Chaitanya would dance in ecstasy. Now, in this case, with Vakeshwara Pandit, Lord Chaitanya would sing and he would dance, which was, I don't think I've noticed that before, because usually we don't hear about Lord Chaitanya singing. We hear about him dancing, but not him singing. So he would personally sing when Vakeshwara Pandit, and Vakeshwara Pandit would dance. Also, it's described that he was a lead dancer, a chief dancer. Like when the Rath Yatra parties would go, like Mother Urmila was describing, there would be different kirtan groups. And then in each group there would be a lead singer, a lead dancer, and then response singers. And there would be a certain number of mridanga players and kartal players. Everything was very organized. And a chief dancer, I'm not sure exactly how that works, if the person dances and everyone follows their movements. But I'm sure it was very, very beautiful to see Vakeshwara Pandit. He would dance in the party of when Govinda Ghosh would be leading. Vakeshwara Pandit was dancing. And when Haridas Thakur passed away, Vakeshwara Pandit again was the chief dancer in that occasion. A famous pastime that happened in relation to Vakeshwara Pandit that's very instructive is the pastime of Devananda Pandit. So Devananda Pandit was a very learned Brahmana. He was a lifelong brahmachari. He was extremely scholarly. Probably if he was here today, he would be, there's nobody, like he had such high qualifications that he would gather, crowds of people would come to hear his kathas on Bhagavatam because he was such a learned speaker. He was probably very erudite in speaking also. But he had no devotion, no bhakti. And so Lord Chaitanya one time was walking by when Devananda Pandit was giving Bhagavatam class, and he said, "What does he know about Srimad Bhagavatam?" And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so angry that he was ready to go into that assembly. He said, "I'm just going to tear up his book," he said. And Lord Chaitanya said he'll never understand. He can speak as much as he wants. He'll never understand the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's very instructive, I feel, because it's not about book knowledge. It's not about the more I read, the more I study, the more verses I know. Of course, those are all important because that's very important to study the philosophy and to learn the shlokas. But that's not the main essence. The essence is to develop bhakti. And if our learning is not leading us to developing devotion for Krishna, love for Krishna, then it's useless actually. So what brings bhakti actually is when we, how do we get bhakti or devotion is through a bhakta or someone who has devotion. So Rakreshwar Pandit, he actually offended a Vaishnava, and so he had no entrance into Bhagavatam, even though he was reading the words, and it says he could have understood, he was so intelligent, but he just missed the whole point. He couldn't understand the essential aspect of Srimad Bhagavatam because he offended Srivas Pandit, and it's described in Chaitanya Bhagavat. This must have happened before Lord Chaitanya's, I'm not sure exactly when it happened, but maybe before even Lord Chaitanya's appearance in this world, that one time Srivas Pandit was sitting in Devananda Pandit's katha, and he was sitting in the back, and he was hearing the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, and because Srivas Pandit is a great devotee, of course he's Narada Muni, and he's a Mahabhagavata, but he was sitting there in the back and hearing the shlokas, and so much absorbed in, because he was hearing the shlokas and feeling the devotion of it, so he was crying tears and making some sounds because he was feeling so much ecstasy. And the disciples were saying, "This person is causing a disturbance." It's like if I was giving class and someone in the back was like making some disturbance, and so others would be, "Oh, this person is causing a disturbance. Can we just throw him out?" And they actually just literally lifted him and threw him out of the assembly. Pretty intense. And Devananda Pandit didn't say anything. So if some injustice is happening and the lead person there doesn't say something, they also get implicated in that same reactions. So Devananda Pandit, because of that, he offended a Vaishnava. He could not enter into the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, very interesting, because we know Gopal Chapala, he also offended Srivas Pandit, and he got leprosy, and Lord Chaitanya said, "You need to beg forgiveness from Srivas Pandit because you offended him." In this case, with Devananda Pandit, he made an offense to Srivas Pandit, but he got free from the offense by serving another Vaishnava, which was really interesting. So in Chaitanya Bhagavat, in Madhya Lila, or this is Antya Lila, actually, chapter 3, it's described that one time some Brahmana, when Lord Chaitanya, he went to Puri after he took sannyas, and then he traveled back to Bengal on the way to go to Vrindavan, and thousands of people were following him. And he came to this village of Kulia, which is the village of the brother of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Vichaspati. I'm not sure if that's cool. Anyway, he went to that house, and there were so many people that he actually escaped because there was too many people, so he left and went to Kulia. And all the people were like, "Where is he? Where's Lord Chaitanya?" And so Lord Chaitanya was in Kulia, and a Brahmana asked him a question saying, "If I made so many offenses before becoming a Vaishnava or devotee, so what do I do?" And Lord Chaitanya said, "That same mouth that you use to drink poison, use it to drink nectar." In other words, if you criticize a Vaishnava, the way to rectify that offense is to, of course we know to beg forgiveness from the Vaishnava, but in this case, Lord Chaitanya is saying, glorify the Vaishnavas. When you make an offense to Vaishnavas, use that same mouth that you said and glorify the Vaishnavas and glorify the Supreme Lord. And in that same, after that incident, Devananda Pandit arrives on the scene. Just after the Lord was instructing the Brahmana. And Devananda Pandit is going to kind of show the example here. So when Gaurachandra was enacting his ecstatic pastimes as a householder, Devananda Pandit did not have faith in him. He was therefore unable to understand the Lord. Although he had the qualification to see the Lord, only Krishna knows why he was unable. When the Lord left home and took sannyas, Devananda Pandit had the good fortune of meeting Vakreshwara Pandit. Vakreshwara Pandit was a dear associate of Lord Chaitanya. Simply by remembering him, the entire universe becomes sanctified. So just by remembering him, the whole universe is sanctified. He was always overwhelmed with ecstatic feelings of separation from Krishna. Even the demigods and demons were amazed by his dancing. Whenever Vakreshwara Pandit began to dance, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, all the ecstatic transformations of love, like tears, shivering, perspiration, laughing, hairs standing on end, roaring and becoming pale, appeared in his body. Who has the power to describe Vakreshwara Pandit's unlimited transformations of ecstatic love? By the arrangement of providence and being bound by Devananda Pandit's affection, Vakreshwara Pandit stayed for some time in Devananda's ashram and enjoyed the mellows of ecstatic love. So Vakreshwara Pandit stayed at the house of Devananda Pandit. And seeing Vakreshwara Pandit's effulgent body and his devotional service to Vishnu, which is incomparable within the three worlds, Devananda Pandit became greatly pleased and sincerely served him with affection and love. As long as Vakreshwara Pandit danced, Devananda Pandit would guard him with a stick in hand. He would personally keep people away from Vakreshwara. And when Vakreshwara was about to fall unconscious, Devananda would catch him in his arms. He would affectionately clean the dust from Vakreshwara Pandit's body and smear that dust all over his own body. While Vakreshwara Pandit stayed with Devananda Pandit, Devananda observed his glories and thus developed faith in Lord Chaitanya. So how do we develop faith in the Lord? Is through service to the Vaishnavas. The fruits of serving Vaishnavas described in the Puranas were directly seen in this incident. From his birth he was religious-minded, detached and learned. He did not teach any literature other than Srimad Bhagavatam. He was peaceful, self-controlled, sense-controlled, free from greed, and endowed with many good qualities. Yet he had no faith in Gaurachandra. That sinful mentality was destroyed by the mercy of Vakreshwara Pandit. So it's the mercy of the Vaishnavas. It's the essence of our spiritual progress. The service of Vaishnavas is superior to service to Krishna. All scriptures headed by Srimad Bhagavatam confirm this. This is a very amazing verse. There may be a doubt whether the servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead will attain perfection. But there is absolutely no doubt that those who are attached to serving the Lord's devotees will attain perfection. So there is a doubt that even if you serve Krishna, you may not attain perfection, as saying here. But if you serve the devotees, there's no doubt that you'll attain perfection. Therefore, service to the Vaishnavas is the best means of deliverance. Everyone can attain Krishna by serving the devotees. By the influence of Vakreshwara Pandit's association, Devananda developed an intense desire to see Gaurachandra. As Lord Gaurachandra was sitting, Devananda Pandit came before the Lord. After offering his humble obeisances, Devananda Pandit stood hesitantly in the corner. The Lord, however, was pleased to see him and had him sit down next to him. So what a difference. Remember earlier he was so angry he was ready to go in and tear up his book, and his devotees had to hold him back because he was so angry. But here he said, please come, have a seat, sit next to me. And the Lord excused all of Devananda's previous offenses and bestowed his mercy on him. The Lord said, you are able to see me because you served Vakreshwara Pandit. Vakreshwara Pandit possesses the full potencies of the Supreme Lord. Anyone who serves him attains Krishna. Krishna personally resides in the heart of Vakreshwara Pandit. When Vakreshwara dances, Krishna dances. Any place that is associated with Vakreshwara Pandit is equal to all the holy places and is as good as Vaikuntha. When the Brahmana Devananda Pandit heard the Lord's words, he folded his hands and began to offer prayers. So he was very repentant. He said, I did not recognize you before. And then he asked instructions from Lord Chaitanya. How can I really enter Srimad Bhagavatam? And Lord Chaitanya said, the ways to enter Srimad Bhagavatam is you have to explain everything, the beginning, middle, and end in terms of bhakti. So never deviate from that essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is devotional service, and also serve the book Bhagavatam and the devotee Bhagavatam equally. Don't make distinctions. So this is the book and this is the devotee. So serve both with great reverence and devotion. So this story I found very instructive for all of us in relationship to Vakreshwara Pandit. How service to Vaishnavas is so important, and that if we offend a Vaishnava, then we're not able to enter into the essence. No matter how much we may do the externals, we won't really be able to enter into devotional service. So that's what I wanted to speak about Vakreshwara Pandit. Today is also Hera Panchami. Hera Panchami is one of the steps in the whole sequence of the Rath Yatra. As Maharaj was explaining on Sunday, we celebrated Rath Yatra. The actual day was Monday. At the temple, we did a small little one on Sunday. And as Maharaj was explaining the steps, there's Snan Yatra first, and Lord Jagannath is bathed. And then there's 2 weeks where Lord Jagannath, it's called Anvasara, where 2 weeks Lord Jagannath is pretending to be sick. He's inside. He's served by Lakshmi Devi. And then after 2 weeks, Lord Jagannath asked permission from Lakshmi. Can I go for a walk? I'm just going to go out for a little bit. I said, okay. I'll just go out for some time. I'll be right back. I'll be back tomorrow. Then, so Jagannath goes. So Pahandi is the next step where he comes out of the temple. And they rock the deities because he's in so much ecstasy. Jagannath is so excited because he's going to go to Vrindavan. So he's rocking and his eyes are very big. And then they bring him down and because he's so huge, they have to put him on these pillows. And each time they go from one pillow to the next, and the cotton is flying out of the pillows. And then the next step is Pandu Vijaya, which means the celebration where he gets onto the cart. So they have ropes, silken ropes, that they use to pull the deity. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's described how Lord Chaitanya asked the devotees of, I forget which place, but to bring the ropes every year for this part of the festival. The next step in the Rath Yatra is called Chera Ponra, which is where they offer an arti to Jagannath. He's on the cart. They sweep in front of the Jagannath. They offer garlands to Jagannath. Then the next step is Yatra, where they actually pull the Rath Yatra cart down the street. And Lord Jagannath is on his cart and he's looking here, this way and that way. And on the sides, there's beautiful gardens, and he's just remembering Vrindavan as he's going down the Rath Yatra, down the procession, down the road. Then when he reaches, there's a celebration called Balagandi, where food is offered to the Lord. And during that time, Lord Chaitanya went into that garden that was close by, and he was resting, and King Prachaparuja, dressed up as like a regular person, was massaging the Lord's feet and singing Gopi Gita. So that's when the Balagandi was going on. And then the next celebration is Pandu Vijaya, where again the deity is brought off the cart and brought into the Gundicha temple. Gundicha temple represents Sri Vrindavan Dham. So Lord Jagannath stays for a total 9 days in Gundicha. And during that time, Lord Chaitanya, with his devotees, was ecstatic, because in this state, Lord Chaitanya was in the mood of union, like now Krishna has come back. So that mood of separation was not there. It was just so blissful. So Lord Chaitanya, what he would do, and his devotees, they would go in the morning and have darshan of Jagannath. Then they would go to the garden and have Sankirtan. And they would have those groups, and it's described where Krishna Pandit would dance, and Lord Chaitanya would sing, and his associates would sing, and then other devotees would dance. And then when they got tired, they would go for bathing in the Narendra Sarovar lake that was nearby. And it's described in Chaitanya Leela, all the fun pastimes they would have in the water. Like Advaita Charya, Nityananda Prabhu would splash water on each other. And one time Lord Chaitanya even floated on he told Advaita Charya to lie flat, and he, like Ananta Shesha, and Lord Chaitanya lay on top of Advaita Charya to show the pastime of Mahavishnu Ananta Shesha. And so then they would have a very fun time in the lake, Narendra Sarovar, and then they would come back to the garden and have sumptuous prasadam, and then they would again have darshan. So what a wonderful, for 9 days, what a wonderful festival that was every day. But in the middle of that, the 5th day, something very exciting happens. Maharaj was explaining the other day about how there's spiritual emotions in spiritual life. It's not dry. It's not like everything is peace and everything is good. There's sometimes anger and sometimes like jealousy and tears and all these emotions, but they all work to bring more love for Krishna, and it pleases Krishna, and it helps to develop our intensity of love for Krishna. So, the 5th day, Lakshmi Devi says, Jagannath was supposed to be back. He said he was going to come back the next day. He's still not back. So she gets very angry. So with all of her associates, she comes in her full opulence. She dresses up with all her jewelry, and all her associates are dressed up, and they have a beautiful palanquin with gold, and everything is very opulent. They come there, and they began to arrest the servants of Jagannath and beat them with sticks and beat the Rath Yatra cart and say, how come your Lord is not coming back? And they offer obeisances to Lakshmi Ji and say, don't worry, we will bring him back tomorrow. We'll bring him back tomorrow. So she's kind of appeased. So in an angry huff, she goes back. And the interesting thing is that Jagannath doesn't go back the next day. He's still, because it's the 6th, he only goes back on the 9th day. So that was the 5th day. So he still stays another 4 days in Gundicha. But in the Chaitanya Leela, it's described that Lord Chaitanya is watching this Hera Panchami festival, and he's enjoying this celebration. And he's talking to Sarup Damodar, who's sitting next to him, and saying, why is Lakshmi Ji angry? Shouldn't she be happy that, Krishna's back? And Sarup Damodar said, that's the nature of a lover who's been ignored by her lover, like to get angry. And then he begins to describe the gopis, how they show their anger and love, Srimati Radharani, and how that pleases Krishna more than when they're like smiling and receiving him. He gets more pleasure when they're chastising him, and So this beautiful description in the 14th chapter of the Madhya Leela is there, of Sarup Damodar explaining about the gopis' mood of anger and how that pleases Krishna so much. Then the next step is Bahuda Yatra, where Jagannath goes back to, on the 9th day, he goes back to his temple. And the next celebration is Sonavesh, which is where Jagannath is dressed in gold. So he's back in the Vaikuntha mood, back into that opulent mood with Lakshmi Ji. He's dressed in a gold dress. And there's another sweet exchange in that 14th chapter between Srivas Pandit and Sarup Damodar. Srivas Pandit says, what is the opulence of Vrindavan? They're just a few twigs and like this and that, and it's not so, just some cows. And look at my Lakshmi Ji, she's so opulent. And in this way, there was a fun exchange as Sarup Damodar says, you don't understand. Like Vrindavan, it looks simple, but each grain of sand is Chintamani, and each tree is Kalpavriksha tree. So it looks simple, but it's the most opulent. And the sweetness of Vrindavan is incomparable to the opulence of Vaikuntha. Today we talked about Varkeshwar Pandit and some of the lessons to learn, and then Hera Panchami, the sweetness of Vrindavan and how Jagannath wants to taste that sweetness. So does anybody want to ask and add anything, or any comments or questions or anything? she danced straight? Wow. Okay. Yeah, yeah. 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 Yes, yes. Yeah. Hmm. Right. Yeah. Hmm. 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 I was meditating on how each devotee has their specific service and how Krishna empowers probably that devotee in that service. Of course, he's a Nitya Siddha devotee, but yeah. Aniruddha, right? Yes. Right. Yes. Vishnu Tattva. Yes. 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 Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Vakeshwara Pandit ki jai. Hera Panchami ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.